And we are off. Just a reminder, this tournament is being run on normal, randomized swords, standard mode. Oh, blue mail, we were both way off.
Well, from watching the games these past few days, the seeds tend to be very safe with both lots of hearts and mail upgrades acquired very early on.
Yeah, this is very true. I've seen races where they get their, the red tunic almost right off the bat. So, not unusual, but it's still an interesting start.
It does provide a lot of safety going about in the early game, and especially should they get some sort of very early access into the Dark World. But we do see the bow is the item of choice for escape today.
Yeah, that's going to make things nice for clearing out a couple of the early dungeons that sometimes Randomizer makes you wait a little bit on.
And also very nice for both our players to pick up a very early bomb, which is going to help out once they get to the sewers.
Yeah, they'll be able to check that one room with 3 chests in the back of Escape. As I said, the runners in this tournament are racing on normal randomized swords standard mode. So that means that every race is going to start with them starting in Link's house, having to go through the Hyrule Castle area, and escape with Princess Zelda before they can actually get to the meat of the run. And what that also means is that the randomized swords means that the uncle will have any one of a number of different offensive items for Link to have right at the beginning. In this one, it's the bow, but it could be the fire rod or the cane of Burna. And it could also be 10 bombs, which makes for a very challenging escape area. And you see both players picking up the power glove right there, which is also going to open up a lot of possibilities for them places for them to check in this early game.
And that's another thing that I've seen with these seeds. It tends to give a lot of progression items this early on, but then it tends to die down a little as we try to look for that one awkward spot to find the next item to go to the later stages of the run.
And Chad is asking, yeah, the uncle can give the fighter sword vanilla, but as far as the chances of that, I believe it's actually weighted against the uncle giving the sword. So they're much more likely to receive one of the other items, and least likely to get the sword.
Oh, really? I didn't know that was the case. Oh, there's the flute, though.
Wow, really opening up here right off the bat. This is going to be an interesting seed.
And that does seem to indicate that neither of our players is going to make some sort of NMG play to go straight to Eastern and clear that with the bow, as the flute does open up the map a lot in the early stages.
This is very true, although we still, we have yet to see the map check, and Eastern might be required. But, we'll see what happens. It's still very early on in the run.
Yes, of course, that's always the case. So our players are just now heading back up again and going into the sewers here in Hyrule Castle to continue to go through this escape sequence. And a good time tends to be around sub 6 minutes that you want to aim for. And as both our players here are quite experienced, that is the kind of time that we may expect to see today.
One other thing of note in the standard mode is that for doing the second half of the Hyrule Castle escape, they will get the lamp for use only in the sewers, and then they won't get it again until they actually pick it up in the game.
That is indeed true. So unless you are comfortable with navigating the dark rooms, the lamp is a required item for you to get. Otherwise, it is a sequence break. Just finding the map here in the sewer chest. We do still see our players doing a couple of extra farming here, most likely to find some bombs or some rupees. As they only have one bomb and they're gonna use it right now. And there's our sword and a big heart, and also the Titan Smith so early on.
Wow, that is, yeah. Somebody said that having a great early seed, great escape seed, really makes for a rough time later because you're looking around, and yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get some trolling from the seed because of that.
We may actually already be getting it if you look at the rupee and bomb count. If they can't check all the item locations in Kakariko by not purchasing from the bottle vendor or where they need some bombs, oh yeah, there are the bombs, although. But they still are lacking on the rupee count for the bottle merchant.
Well, usually they can pick up a few in Blind's hut and the chests. In between the chests in the Kakariko well. So it's not going to be too bad. They may come up just a little bit short, but it'll be interesting to see. And we have our first divergence here. SeedyV is going to go up and check the Lumberjack Cave and probably the Lost Woods. Oh, it looks like Jenja's just going to go up and check the Lost Woods too. Don't know if if they're going to make the play over to the Lumberjack Cave to see if it's required or not.
I think Jenja will be skipping out on this one. We did see the map chest and saw 2 vanilla crystals, I believe it was, in Eastern and Desert, and then a regular pendant up in the Tower of Hera.
And to answer your question about rupees, we find a 50 at the mushroom spot.
Very convenient location for that, and just a bomb capacity upgrade at the Lumberjack today. So for now, Aga is a bit on the waiting line. That mushroom, though...
Yeah, it puts a fetch quest in the logic. See what happens with that. It doesn't always pan out. In fact, I almost never, in my experience, have seen a mushroom drop that actually yields something decent at the witch's hut.
Well, that's the thing with Randomizer. It is random. It is a very easy check for them this time, though, since they have the flute already.
Yes, that is true, and if you're doing anything where you get the bottles and you need to have a little extra insurance, it's not a bad play to just go ahead and swing by the witch's hut and pick up a couple of potions. And check the mushroom at that time.
That is indeed the case. SeedyV finds a arrow pull, which is actually very useful since they got this early bow.
And Jenja getting some love in Blind's hut. 3 small pieces and a large heart. Let's see what's in the back of the hut there. Just an arrow upgrade.
There is so much love in these early seeds these days, it feels like. So our players will now have a sufficient number of rupees to check the bottle merchant, as Jenja is now heading into the well. And he's gonna find 3 bombs, a very nice pickup since you still do need some additional bombs for this early game routing. Finds another piece of heart, that's the 4th one already in Kakariko. Ends this with just a 5er. Oh, a hookshot, very nice indeed, and a big heart, of course, another heart.
And that plus the flute is going to open up Death Mountain. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them made a quick play up there to check Paradox Cave and Spiral Cave.
That does seem quite likely. Do you think that they would be more likely to check that before the pond, which is otherwise the more commonly visited area after Kakariko?
It's hard to say. There's still a couple things they do need to check here in Kakariko, and then check the library and the race game. It's hard to say.
And that could actually be our first route diversion if someone decides to go for that. Jenja decides to not have some fun with the cuckoos today.
And apologies for talking during the national anthem.
Personally, I don't care.
Got called out on it. Somebody got called out on it last night.
I take full responsibility for that, and yes, it was on purpose. Just kidding. So we haven't found a bottle though for Sick Kids, so they will have to go back for that unless it's at the race game. And Jenja also spending some time buying some bombs here.
I think that's a smart play. Seed has been a little stingy with bombs, but not terribly stingy, but just for a little extra insurance. Looks like Seedy's making the same play.
Yeah, I fully support this decision for both our players. And inside of the library, we have the Master Sword. And here's the bomb capacity as Jenja is going to fly away, and he is actually going to start off with a mushroom today. Jenja goes back in and will find himself with just 20 rupees, which he is going to pick up as the rupee count is very low currently. As he decides to take the more standard route and flies over to the pond.
And SeedyV is going to follow suit. So, yeah, they're both in about the same place, picking up a little bit of love there in the dam.
That's 8 hearts and blue mail, 12 minutes into the run. Oh, and there's the net! Now, Jenja actually did say that Bugnet is the item that he wants to see first. Now, this is not quite that, but it's almost that.
And both players going over to Mini Moldorm. This is actually pretty good, being that they both have the hook shot.
Yeah, this is a very safe and straightforward cave here, as they don't have to use any bombs. Just finding a heart piece and the 20 rupees, and well, there's the red mail.
What did I say about red mail?
Oh, and the moon pearl.
Which means we have full Dark World access.
13 minutes in. How do you route this seed now?
This is definitely interesting.
You have so many options. Death Mountain, Dark World. Do you go straight into Skullwood's Thieves right now?
I think Jenja's going to head over to Eastern, bypassing Ice Rod Cave. Let's see. Oh, looks like Seedy's going to go fake flippers.
I think it's just
interesting to see how this plays.
Likely is going to check Hobo with this. They did get the Moon Pearl, so he can do the sequence break for Waterfall of Wishing, but he has such few rupee count. He is actually going to go for Waterfall of Wishing. Jenja is checking up on our lovely man, Sahasrara here. He's going to rob him of 20 rupees, a bottle with a fairy in it, and a big bomb capacity upgrade.
Not bothering to check what the green pendant is. I'm sure he'll find out soon enough. And
Oh,
Fire
and
Rod.
Wow.
That's interesting. That's a sequence break right there.
So where could those flippers be then? And Jenja is proceeding into Eastern Palace here, which, if he can navigate the dark rooms, this is a full clear. Only 20 rupees on the Sora ledge, and of course, the rupee count is low in this seed, so can't spend those 500 rupees to get 20 back.
Well, there are a couple of 300 rupee drops in some of the chests coming up, so we're probably just counting on picking up a couple of those early on here.
Of course, of course. So it looks like SeedyV will be heading into the Dark World as Jenja finds our second shield of the seed. And since Jenja has the hookshot, he can actually skip an entire room here on the eastern side of Eastern Palace. We do see green pendant in Mire and red in Thieves, 6 and 5 at Skullwoods, and Turtle Rock for the crystals.
I wonder if SeedyV is going to check Village of Outcasts, maybe the front of Thieves Town, and then zip up to Skull Woods here.
It tends to be a very standard route that you take. There's 20 rupees in the chess game. But he's going straight into Thieves Town here.
Well, it is a quick 4 chests that can be checked. I know I think only a couple of them are potentially items, but you know, I mean, he's got the red mail, so he's and 8 hearts. So it wouldn't surprise me if he, you know, checked it to be a. Did you say Thieves Town was the green pendant? No, Meyer was the green pendant.
Yeah, Meyer was the green.
Okay.
So far, Jenja hasn't found anything of value unless you count the shield inside of Eastern. Thieves Town still is a very fast and quick check regardless, but it doesn't have the mirror to get out of there, so he may just decide to go for a full clear here. Oh, he has a low hearts though, so he could go for a Death Ward.
I think you may be right on that. And Jenja doing a break himself with the dark rooms in Eastern.
Yep, manages to get the key, and SeedyV is setting up this Death Ward. And just a compass for Jenja, all that way for nothing. SeedyV is checking the sea house and finds only a single arrow. I really like this navigation that Jenja is doing with the hookshot to get around Eastern Palace much faster since they don't have the boots yet.
Oh, I love going into Eastern with the hookshot. It makes things so much easier.
And there's the key for Jenja inside of the dark room. He has traversed Eastern Palace flawlessly. SeedyV here is going for the digging game, just barely affording that 80 rupee. And there's our final shield! So that means that we found all the mail upgrades, we found all the shields. We know where Master Sword is, but that is boots locked for now. Oh, Jenja barely missing out on that one.
Yeah, that's a really tough one to get all 4 shots off before they go back to sleep.
Yeah, it's a very tight timing. Let's see if Jenja can get this quick kill, though.
Fantastic Armos fight by Jenja.
Really well done, and gets yet another heart container. And that's also our first crystal of the seed. And SeedyV is heading to Hype Cave, or maybe the cave formerly known as Hype Cave. The cave has taken on a lot of different names recently. Just gonna find 3 bombs in our first item location, a big heart, 20 rupees, 20 more rupees, and finally 100 rupees.
And it looks like Jenja is going use the flute to get up to Death Mountain, is going to go traverse the dark room and get the old man. So he'll have that as a save and quit point.
Yeah, it's a very nice pickup to have. And SeedyV is doing the same thing.
And I imagine both runners are probably then going to go check East Death Mountain after this.
There's so many item locations that they can check here. Interestingly enough, though, they can't get into Tower of Hera. Oh, Jenja getting stuck on that deadlock. No. What in the world even is that? How is that even a thing that they programmed into the game? Oh, and there's the Sanctuary Heart. So Jenja is leaving Spectacle Rock for later, as he will head over to East Death Mountain. SeedyV, however, he will be checking Spectacle Rock first. And right here on top of Spectacle Rock, we do see 3 bombs.
Yeah, let's see what's in the cave as well. Just 20.
And 10 arrow, or an arrow capacity upgrade, and 300 rupees for Jenja. It's a very nice rupee pickup there.
Yeah, that'll go a long way to getting them over to Zora.
And Zora's been in the logic for a very long time. So a piece of heart, 20 rupees also picked up for Jenja. As the other 3 chests will yield him another piece of heart, 20 rupees, and 3 bombs. I feel like I've seen these items before.
Yeah, the seed seems to be really generous with the big 20s and the bomb clusters. I take back what I said earlier about it being stingy. Turns out they probably didn't need to go into the shop in Kakariko to pick up the bombs, but you know, as I always say, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Yeah, indeed, better safe than sorry, especially when it comes to bombs. Normally you can save some bombs in the early game by having boots, but we're still looking for those boots to get the Master Sword on the library. And the floating rock has a piece of heart. I'm very surprised by that. And ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy this very enjoyable, very slow spiral cave. And as Jenja falls into the hole, he opens up the chest and finds 10 bombs.
I have a feeling Jenja is going to head over to the Dark World portal and check out Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave. That's 6 more chests that they can pick up right off the bat.
Indeed, and it will also give him the information of which medallion is required for Turtle Rock. He's doing his own map check now that we saw SeedyV do earlier, I believe.
Also wouldn't... Well, no, it's right, he doesn't have the... I was going to say he was going to go check out Hera, but they don't have the mirror.
And he can't actually get to Hera because they don't have mirror and they don't have hammer. Now, Hera is just a pendant, though.
Yeah, any excuse to skip Moldorm is a worthwhile excuse in my book.
I fully support that. He's gonna find an air capacity upgrade, and there's the hammer. Now they can check Tower of Hera.
Just what you were saying.
Well, I guess it's Moldorm. But maybe the basement is required, and Jenja did not sequence break to get the fire rod. Now, what if there really is a progression item in that basement? Oh, there's a Master Sword, though, inside of Hookshot Cave in the first chest. Move towards the second one. We do find our first medallion in Bombos. And 300 rupees. We got all the rupees they will need now. And finally, 20 rupees. So with Fake Flippers, this actually opens up Ice Palace for Jenja. And Bombos is the one for Turtle Rock.
Wow. Yeah, that's I've seen that before, where you get the medallion for Turtle Rock right in the cave just before Turtle Rock. So yeah, that'll I bet they're both glad to see that. Although, and with Meyer being just a pendant dungeon, that could mean they don't need to find the other ones.
That is possible, but Meyer is actually accessible if that's Bombos. Also, Sikit has the Ice Rod!
So yeah, at this point, looks like I think that no, wait, we don't have the cane yet. We just
Yeah,
need the cane to get to Samaria then.
Yes, we are looking for that cane. Technically also the lamp, if you are struggling with that one dark room.
Yes, that is true. And it looks like
Jenja,
Jenja, going up to Skull Woods.
indeed. And the SeedyV, he is gonna check out the Meyer area.
I think those are both solid plays.
Seems
Although
maybe like...
CD, nope,
Yeah,
maybe
he
not.
changed his mind.
It's possibly realized that he didn't have the with not having the mirror or the drawn a blank here.
I wish I knew what you were trying to think of here. The mirror for checkerboard and desert, or the book. Oh, the flippers are in Skull Woods.
Yeah, that's interesting. Looks like CDV is going to go make a play up to Pod. I think what I was saying is if he doesn't have the lamp or the cane, he was going to have a hard time getting through Meyer. But there were plenty of places he could check.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, SeedyV is doing the play into Pod. Jenja is attempting this bomb jump across. Like most bomb jumps, very finicky and difficult to get. Let's get a second try, all for a small key. Now, routing through Palace of Darkness without the mirror is a giant pain, in my opinion. You tend to really appreciate the mirror to constantly get you back to the entrance, since there's a lot of different paths that you can take in order to get through the dungeon. First chest has a small key, which is pretty much always there, but sometimes it isn't. Jenja is now backtracking through Village of Outcasts, checking out the Sea House.
Wouldn't be surprised to see him go do the Bullfrog Blacksmith after this as well.
Yeah, definitely going for a bit of a world tour. SeedyV here is gonna throw the bomb across, get the big key. Now, quite convenient location. So it's going to fall down here, open up the chest, take the teleporter, and likely go over to the eastern bow-locked area. And this one wall here that SeedyV is going to place a bomb at is actually one of those you can break with boots.
Yeah, both of the ones on this particular path are boots, able to be opened with the boots. Takes a little bit longer doing it this way. You also have to go through the one of the hellways in order to get through there.
Oh yes, and I just realized that since they already have Master Sword, this boots could be in a really annoying location for them. As Jenja is going to be our first player to find the very big shield. And SeedyV is just stacking up on all these pod small keys for now.
Jenja's going to go see what Stumpy has to offer.
Then he's likely going to head over to Hyde Cave. I believe he hasn't checked that, considering the route he's taken this seed.
Yeah, I don't think he's been to Hype yet. And I think you're right. I think that is where he's headed next.
SeedyV now is checking the big key chest here in Pod, which is going to yield him the map. I don't think we've seen a single item in Pod yet.
No, I think it's all been keys and dungeon items.
Now, when Jenja is done with this hype cave here, what do you think about going up and checking Pyramid after this?
I think that you probably would do that and then maybe head over to Eastern just like CD did. And I think you might be right on the money there.
The pyramid tends to be very difficult to route in unless it's an Aga seed, and this is not an Aga seed, so... And there's a lot of item locations here for SeedyV that are all going to be sequence breaks unless he finds the lamp here. Oh, silver arrows.
Silvers, yes, that's a good find. It looks like he is going to go try to do. He's going to try to break the long hallway here.
This is one of the simpler dark rooms to do. Oh, the lamp is on the pyramid!
Wow. I'm not sure if that gives Jenja that much of an advantage. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell at this point which player is ahead. It's still very early, and there's still a lot of routing choices that could be made. But as I expected, I think Jenja is heading over to east to Palace of Darkness now.
The thing that makes this item very important for Jenja is that he did not sequence break earlier to find the fire rod at the Waterfall of Wishing. So this is actually his first source of fire.
And now this is probably one of the harder dark rooms to navigate.
Oh yes, I have no idea how players can manage to get through this one.
And doesn't look like he's going to give it a shot.
And no bomb jump on the bridge either, which he could try, but that's a really difficult bomb jump.
Yeah, that's not one you want to really try unless you're super comfortable with it.
He may be heading to Helmasaur.
That's right, he does have the fire rod, so the one turtle room is would be possible for him to clear without too much trouble.
Yes, but his magic is really low. And Jenja is now going to open all of these chests and find all of these keys. So we presume here that SeedyV will be finishing off Palace of Darkness right now. What would be the next location to head towards?
I think he might opt to go over to Skull Woods. With it being one of the few other places that they actually can check at this point, that would be, especially because he has the fire rod, I would imagine that would probably be his next play, and I'm sure once he finds the flippers, that'll open things up a bit more for him.
Yes, he has not found the flippers yet, so he doesn't know that this fire rod is actually no longer a sequence break. He did manage to light that one torch, and it seems like he's not going to have any trouble with it. Also, very nice full magic pick up there, just in case something went south.
Yeah, that was very convenient right there.
SeedyV will be finishing off this dungeon, but he will have a couple of item locations left, and it's always that fear when you finish off a dungeon and you leave some item locations behind that there could be something there.
Yeah, there are the two chests in the dark room, which I don't think he checked, and then the big chest. And be interesting to see, did he pick up all three dungeon items? I think we saw the map, but I don't know if we saw the compass.
I can't remember the compass either. Also, it was a very nice Helmasaur fight for him. Just 5 rupees for it.
And Jenja will now give us a chance to see what SeedyV had passed up.
Oh, half magic. Wow.
Wow.
So very nice pickup. Not mandatory, but always nice to have.
Especially with Turtle Rock being required, half magic is really necessary. Not really necessary, but really helpful.
Yeah, and the cave. Have you checked Bumper Cave yet?
I don't think any of them have been up that direction since getting into Dark World, so no, we haven't seen Bumper yet. But it would be a nice quick check at this point, especially if they are going to head up to Skull Woods. Although, I'm not sure what SeedyV is doing. I think he might be heading over to Eastern.
Yeah, he hasn't done Eastern yet, so he's gonna finish that off. I don't think he's visited Sahassola yet either. No, he hasn't. And this is kind of the problem to have here as a commentator when the seed is so open so early. There's so many things to keep track of. And that's actually his first bottle there, 36 minutes in. And still our only bottle, I believe.
Yeah, it's the only one they've found so far. SeedyV is going to have a little bit easier time in Eastern Palace than Jenja did because he does have the silvers. That's going to make the Armos fight go a little bit quicker. But Jenja did do very well on that Armos fight, so I don't know how much time SeedyV will be able to make up with that.
Well, every little bit counts, I guess. Both our players are now just going through areas that they've already visited as Jenja is finishing off pod, and SeedyV will be going through Eastern here, and he is going to get his Riot Shield here. There we go, there's the Riot Shield. And both our players here are going to be finishing off at roughly around the same time. They will both be sitting on 2 crystals. And they still have a lot of areas that they can check. Tower of Hera and Skullwoods is open. Ice Palace is open. They're still missing either the mirror or the book to get into Desert, though. And of course, everyone's favorite cane for Turtle Rock. A very nice turtle room for Jenja.
Nice skeleton room there for SeedyV.
It's going to be interesting to see here if SeedyV is going to do this 50-50 gamble here on the big key chest, which we know has nothing. And he's going to make the check. It's always the safer option to do so. And Jenja is done with the first phase of Helmasaur, and a single arrow, flawless. Jenja opting for the save and quit here. I imagine he's going to bring out the flute to take him somewhere. Gets that bomb there under the rock, and he is going to go to... is this Sora or Ice?
Well, he has Bombos, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does go and try to do Ice Palace.
Yes, this is very unfortunate though, because we know the Fire Rod is just over at Sora, and that would speed up the process of this dungeon, which is required since it is a crystal.
That's true. He does have half magic, though, so he'll have a lot more uses of the Bombos at his disposal.
Yeah, it's just that the Bombos animation is much longer than a single Fire Rod shot. Now, no cane here for Jenja. He does have the hook shot. I imagine he's going to fall clear ice and going to do the bomb jump.
Chad asked a question. Half Magic was the top chest in the dark room in the back of Pod.
That is indeed the case. And there's the big key in the first chest already. SeedyV also does not manage to quite kill that one enemy. He did get a very nice 8 bomb drop though. Having a little bit of issues, but manages to defeat Armos and earn himself his second crystal.
Seedy did try to do the dark room, but decided not to. He backed out of it.
And in case you're wondering, the lamp is on the pyramid. SeedyV has not actually delivered in the mushroom yet, despite the fact that they got it extremely early on.
Jenja going for the bomb jump here in Ice Palace.
Nice, first try.
It's another one of those difficult bomb jumps.
Indeed, because you have to place the bomb, and then you have to readjust your sprite slightly to the right position.
Oh, hookshot picking off those penguins just feels so good.
Personally, I'm a very big fan of the double bomb strat. Anyway, SeedyV just seems to be finishing off a bunch of fetch quests right now, first with the mushroom and then with the bottle. But this seems like he is going into Skull Woods.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think he's going to get his flippers there and then be able to move on and check some of the stuff Jenja's already been to.
Yeah, the flippers does open up the Ice Palace and are technically required for the Fire Rod, which he already has. I don't think we found anything of use yet in ice. As SeedyV is now going to get his flippers, as Jenja finds just another 20.
No, Jenja has not been up to Zora Domain yet.
Yes, SeedyV did a fake flipper and checked Waterfall of Wishing, found the Fire Rod, and checked the Sora Ledge, which had nothing, but he did not have enough rupees to check Sora. SeedyV is now going to do this bomb jump over to the big chest and just find a small key. There we go, there's a small key.
Now this actually is a good play for SeedyV because he does have the Fire Rod, which means he can go ahead and clear Skull Woods, whereas Jenja doesn't even have the Fire Rod yet. So I'll be sure to see where this puts the two of them in relation to each other.
Indeed, and that actually made me realize that you need the flippers for the Fire Rod, so the game intends you to double dip Skull Woods in this seed. Of course, because of SeedyV's sequence break, he only needs a single visit to full clear Skull Wood. And another 20 rupees. I think we've only found 2 20s inside of ice for now. And as Jenja heads towards Coal Stairs, SeedyV is going into the mouth of Skull Woods. Colster is a rather troublesome fight, does a high amount of damage, but with red mail, 10 hearts, clears the first rate with bombos, and oh, SeedyV gets grabbed by the hand and gets dragged all the way back to the start of Skullwoods.
Thankfully, he only has to go through one more room, but yeah, those hands in this section of Skullwoods can be diabolical.
Oh yes, it's very annoying, and many of these rooms have very fine space to actually move because of all the enemies running around in the holes and everything.
Most frustrating, though, is the one where it can grab you as you're falling down the hole into Mothula. I've had that happen to me once or twice.
That is indeed something that can occur. And as we're talking here, Jenja is having a really good cold stare fight. Did not quite get him into the corner, but his blade is very safe. And just a couple of more hits, and he will be able to finish this one off as SeedyV is now heading into Mothula. That was the compass from Colster. Now, I remember him getting 2 20s, but did he find a third item in Ice Palace?
I don't think he did. He actually kind of took the fast route through. He didn't do a full clear, so he didn't get the big chest. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if SeedyV picks that up or if Jenja needs to come back.
And SeedyV is having an awful Mothula fight, not behaving at all. There finally picks up the kill.
I am being corrected. The map was in the big chest. He full cleared it.
Okay, that's great. So it doesn't have to potentially return back to Iceland. And I think Jenja may finally be checking out Sora after a hobo check.
Elkenrod, I agree with you 100%. Any Mothula fight you don't die on isn't awful.
I guess it all depends on what your expectations are for a Mothula fight. Oh, the shovel from Hobo! I don't think either of our players have checked Ice Rod Cave either, since they had so many item locations available to them early on.
Yeah, this will be our first check at what they both passed up early on. But the way this seed has been going, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a whole lot of nothing.
Well, Ice Rod Cave is my favorite cave, and it never has anything of use. Yeah, you see, just 3 bombs.
Case in point.
Jenja, though, he's going to feel a bit annoyed to find this fire rod in here. And it seems like SeedyV is now making the play into ice.
After checking Hobo.
Always the Hobo. I was actually a bit surprised earlier on that neither of our players fake flipper to Hobo, since it is a very common play to do in the early game. On the other hand, they had so many item locations available to them. SeedyV is now going to get his shovel. Jenja is going to spend 500 rupees, which is actually not all that much for him since he's sitting at 1300, and he's just gonna get a piece of heart. So I'm thinking Jenja may actually be headed towards maybe Skull Woods at this point, since he did pick up the fire rod. Actually, he's gonna check out the shovel location.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm curious, did he didn't check Jeremiah, did he?
Who is this Jeremiah?
Oh, sorry, the bullfrog. Good friend of mine.
The bullfrog? Sorry, now I'm a bit confused here.
Sorry. The blacksmith frog.
Oh, the blacksmith and the frog. Oh yeah, the world tour. No, I don't think either of our players have gone through that. And that may be because neither of our players have picked up the mirror yet. Now, what if the mirror is there? Also, another item location is Spike Cave. SeedyV is going to spend his 500, and Jenja is going to get his 3 bombs. I'm still surprised that neither of our players have actually checked out the Mire Shed, which has been available to them for a long time. Also, Gina Cave is still available, and as I say that, SeedyV has decided to make a stop into the desert area.
And it does look like Jenja's going to make the Skullwoods play. While the medallion required for Mire is Ether.
Which we do not have, and I think it's a really good call for Jenja here to go ahead and clear Skullwoods. SeedyV picks up a full heart and 3 bombs from the Mire Shed, and he cannot go into Mire. SeedyV missing the duck there. A single rupee on the desert ledge, and we're going to get our first Gina Cave check here.
Jenja going straight to the back of Skullwoods to clear that out. Did either of them check that chest? Did Seedy check the chest at the beginning of that cave there?
I can't quite remember if he did, or maybe if he hasn't, maybe he's doing that on the way back. Also, Ether in Gina's cave.
So again, another medallion right next to where it's needed.
Pretty much. So now we do have Mire access, and I imagine neither of our players want to go there. Jenja is now the one to get his try here on Mothula. And I get the feeling SeedyV is going to go into ice here. And Mothula is not being very kind to Jenja either. This is an awful Mothula, this seed. There we go. Finally, Mothula is brought down to justice. Now, SeedyV is going to be able to get around ice faster than Jenja, since he does have the fire rod for this dungeon. We're still looking for Kane and Mirror for our go mode, I believe.
Still, yeah, Mirror. Although the book would help with that as well.
Yes, but they will still need a Mirror for Swamp.
This is true, yes.
And we're still looking for the boots. And want to remind some new viewers that have arrived here that library has a sword upgrade. Now, Jenja may be our first player here to check out the Bumper Cave up here, and he does have the cape from Palace of Darkness. Just 50 rupee. And that makes SeedyV safe, as no double dip into pod, which was a genuine risk since he did skip out on some chests, but he will just be missing out on the half magic. Which is still a big deal, of course, but you can still beat this game without half magic, even though it is harder. SeedyV here is doing his best to set up this bomb jump, which, as we did say earlier, is very finicky. And Jenja here with the very slow pegs, and SeedyV does get the bomb jump across. And this little hammer peg cave here is going to yield 3 bombs, and we're out.
Just another bomb cluster.
And this seed seems to have proceeded the way that most seeds are. A lot of items in the early game, but then it kind of dies down. Jenja going for this world tour with the Frogsmith, or whatever you want to call it this time.
SeedyV is going to check out the big chest in Ice Palace. Just a key.
And that was the one item location I believe that Jenja did not check. Now this smith is a really awkward item location to check since you do not have the mirror. You have to do that save and quit, and all that work for just 20 rupees.
And looks like Jenja is also going to check out Meyer Cave, and well, I guess that's about all he can check at this point here.
As it's those two items, and he's not going to get anything there. He's going to save and quit and think of where to go next.
He might do what SeedyV did and go check Agana.
And then he gets the ether, and he's just going to shake his head. So what other item locations do we have available to us right now? We do have Agana, we have Spike Cave. Or not Agana, I mean Meyer. Meyer and Spike Cave.
Yeah, that's pretty much it at this point. Although, yeah, that's about it at this point. Without the boots, they can't check Bonk Rock. They can't check King's Tomb.
Oh yeah, Tower of Hera is available, right?
Yeah, they could try Tower of Hera.
So, where would you go in that situation? If we're just gonna say 2 items in Meyer, and 2 items in Tower of Hera and Spike Cave. 5 items. Where do you go first? Actually, the deeper town parts of Thieves Town are also available to us, and that's where Jenja is going right now.
Yeah, they do have everything to clear that out. Even though it is a pendant dungeon, given that the seed has been not necessarily forthcoming with progression items, this is a smart play, I think.
And Thieves Town is just very conveniently placed if we're going to compare it with the other locations that we mentioned, and in terms of speed and clearing. And he can full clear it. He has the hammer for the big chest location.
Yeah, Thieves Town is actually a really easy one to check out quickly if you're at a loss for where to go next.
Yeah, and I actually reminded myself that there's another area that no one likes to check, and that is Catfish.
Ah, yes. I don't necessarily see them going there anytime soon.
I think the only one in that case will be SeedyV to do some sort of pyramid into Catfish routing. Since he has not checked the pyramid, and we do know that the lamp is on the pyramid. And we didn't really talk all that much here about the SeedyV's playthrough Ice Palace, as it went pretty well for him, and he's found all of the items and is now heading towards Coast.
Yeah, there wasn't anything special in the big chest. The only thing that Jenja missed when he came through. So at this point, yeah, it's still a toss-up, given that no player really has an advantage in terms of progression items at the moment. So yeah, it will be interesting to see where things go at this point.
Yeah, this is a very close race.
That said, they could check the front portion of Meyer. They just wouldn't be able to full clear it right away.
Yes, that is indeed the case. Do you really want to go into Meyer?
I wouldn't.
Oh, SeedyV is getting a bit low on hearts here, and Jenja found a lot of rupees in that one chest.
I think Seedy still does have the fairy, though.
I'm pretty certain he does. I've not seen any of our players fall down.
And he finishes the fight just fine.
Coast there can be a really annoying fight if you can't get it into the center at the or into the wall at the start, and getting it there is not the easiest thing in the world either.
Yeah, he also only had. Oh no, he did use the fire rod.
Yeah, he used
Jenja
bombos
checking
on the first.
Yeah. And Jenja checking the basement of Thieves Town now.
There's still a few more items here, or item locations for Jenja to check here, as SeedyV is going to do the shovel location. Still though, 13 hearts, red mail, full shield upgrade. They are very safe, even going into the later stages of this siege. Here's the map inside of the big chest for Jenja, and that leaves blind.
I must say, both players have actually been doing very well with everything the seed has thrown at them so far. I don't think any of them have had any unintentional deaths at this point, so that's a good way to go this far, just an hour into the race.
I think the only death we've had was SeedyV's Death Warp out of Thieves.
Yeah.
And Jenja is now doing this blind fight, going very well throughout the first two phases, going into the third here. That's a very good fight.
I do wonder if SeedyV will make another play out towards Pod, being that he skipped the dark room.
That is indeed a concern. As Jenja did find Quake from blind, which is not required in this siege.
Actually, yeah, I just realized he hadn't gotten his lamp yet. He's just about to get it, which means he may get pointed back towards Pod after this, though I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a quick detour up to Catfish.
I would love to see SeedyV go ahead and check Catfish now, as Jenja is taking the chest, lunchbox, whatever you want to call it, and is going to deliver it. Oh, and SeedyV seems to be heading towards Pod. And inside of this chest, there's the cane!
Wow, that puts Turtle Rock into play. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jenja go right up there. And that is what he's doing.
That's a massive pickup for Jenja. And that's such an awkward item location to see, because you first need to do the smith, and then you need to go and get that chest without the mirror.
Yeah, even with the mirror, that's a bit of a trek, especially when you're trying to get through this really quickly. So I can't say that yeah, there have been a couple times I've skipped purple chest and it's come to bite me.
I can't blame you for skipping that. And also, Jenja still hasn't checked a Spectacle Rock, so he went and did that first, and nothing of value there for him, and now he's heading towards Turtle Rock. This is a full clear for him, as he has all the required items, although Mimic Cave is not accessible.
Right. Although I wouldn't be surprised to see the mirror on Laser Bridge or something like that.
I concur. But since the mirror is the last item we're looking for right now, Mimic Cave isn't required in the first place. Oh, unless if we're gonna go like in some extremely bizarre fashion that the boots is locked behind it and the big key is on the torch inside of Ganon's tower. SeedyV is now gonna pick up his cape and he's gonna head out, and Jenja is actually doing Tower of Hera first.
I really can't argue with that particular play. That's, given how many items are still outstanding, like the mirror and the boots, and the book, I can definitely see Tower of Hera being a somewhat smart play. Hopefully it pans out for him.
It's a very quick clear regardless. SeedyV seems to be heading back into Village of Outcasts as an air capacity upgrade as our first item in Tower of Hera.
No, Spike Cave has not been checked yet.
I think he may be checking Spike Cave before Turtle Rock. I think he would be checking that after, or maybe not at all.
SeedyV going to check Bumper, given that he just got the cape in Pod. A little disappointed there, but he does have half magic, so it wasn't a complete waste of time.
Indeed, that is the case, and there's a big heart, and that is our second item in Tower of Hera. And you're still going for the clear here to get the pendant.
Well, now with the cane, that means Meyer is in play. Isn't that correct?
Sadly, yes, it is correct. And that technically means that the pedestal is an item in the logic. And as far as I know, the mirror can be on the pedestal, but do you want it to be there?
I know I've seen some in chat express their desire to see that there, but I'm hoping not. That's always a bit of a downer to realize you have to basically do an all dungeons clear to finish the seed.
And considering how this seed has progressed, I think there are some worse locations where this mirror could be. Jenja had a very straightforward Moldorn fight. He did get knocked back once, but never fell down and got the 3 spins to pick up the kill. And now he seems to be heading towards Turtle Rock.
He's not going to check the basement, but I didn't see. Did he get? I saw he got the compass from Moldorm, but did he also get the map going up?
He got 2 items.
Okay, so yeah, it would have just been the map there in the basement then.
Yeah, I believe it was an air capacity upgrade and a full heart. And Jenja is a master at puzzles, solves the hammer puzzle flawlessly first try. SeedyV is doing this full clear here through Thieves Town. Shouldn't be any major issues for him. So Jenja has all items necessary to full clear Turtle Rock. He does not have the mirror though for Mimikay. He finds the big key in the very first chest. It's a very convenient location for it. Oh, SeedyV gets knocked down. That's a very annoying bridge here to try and get through.
And Jenja is going to be able to do the quick flame torch room here.
All thanks to the hook shot.
I remember how delighted I was when I learned how to do that.
Oh yes, it really helps speeding up that room. That's a bomb capacity upgrade and a small key. SeedyV here is doing blind, has had no trouble thus far, and 9.5 hearts, red mail, yeah. line isn't really all that big of a problem. Still being a bit of a nuisance here though in the third phase, but managed to down him without any major difficulties.
So I have a question: is since Jenja now has the cane and the hammer, could he check Magic Bat? Would that be technically in logic? I'm not sure if it is or not. I'm not sure if that's considered a glitch or if that's taken into account by the randomizer.
Well, we haven't seen the powder yet.
Right, but they and they don't have the mushroom. They both already turned the mushroom in, so yeah, that's a moot point then.
But that may be why I believe it was SeedyV delayed his mushroom delivery for so long. But I believe Jenja went and delivered his mushroom immediately.
Yeah, and chat is telling me that is considered a glitch and thus not in logic.
Jenja here seems a little bit confuzzled over how he wants to route this chest here in Turtle Rock. Oh, there's the boot!
Alright, that'll open things up a little bit.
And that means a guaranteed sword upgrade in the library for him.
Interesting to see if he takes it, though, because, there's still one other sword upgrade out there.
Yeah, but if you have the choice to go into Ganon with Master or Tempered, what's your choice?
Fair point.
Tempered is just so much faster than Master on Ganon since you do not have to do spins. And SeedyV is now delivering the Smith, so if he then returns back for the chest, that is going to give him his cane. Of course, no mirror for Jenja to check Mimic Cave. Finds the map in the big chest. And I think that SeedyV may actually be delivering the lunchbox here.
Yes, I think you're right. I think he is going ahead and making that play. There's not a whole lot of other places he could check at this point.
I mean, I'm still waiting for that Spy Cave check. So he's gonna do this hammer pick first. No, he did the hammer picks already done, right? Regardless, though, the hammer picks didn't have anything of value, and SeedyV is going to get his cane very, very soon, and I imagine he's gonna head straight to Turtle Rock as Jenja is now traversing through the laser bridge. Finds just a bone capacity upgrade in the first chest. Piece of heart in the second, and that gives him a full refill. It's very convenient here. There's the small key, and now to get through this little enemy here using king strats, very nice, and finally picks up 50 rupees.
Nothing on the laser bridge.
That is the case, so where is this mirror? SeedyV spending some time thinking in the menu, but decides to head up to Death Mountain, and I think this is the Turtle Rock play.
I'm gonna go get a quick heart refill from the old man.
Very nice and friendly old man. And then you're going with hammer straps here on a Tri-Nex since he only has the Master Sword. I believe this is faster than going with the Master. The head being very annoying to him, just going straight off though with the Master Sword hits on the second head. And will down it soon enough. There we go. Now here's an interesting thing though for Jenja. This is going to open up Pyramid Fairy for him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him do that after possibly. Well, no, he wouldn't be able to go back out and check Spike Cave from here. So yeah, I can see Pyramid Fairy being the next play here.
That is 2 items. And we're still a bit low on item locations than just the compass from Trinex, so... So we only need the mirror for Go mode. Now the book would open up Desert, but we still need mirror for Swamp.
And there also could be some mirror at Sahasrahla.
Oh, please, no, don't. I'm not... Do you really go for the full clear green pendant Meyer in this situation, though? Because it's 2 items from Meyer, you get Sahasrahla, and you get Pedestal. It's actually 4 items, which is not too bad. Jenja has opened up a few more item locations here now, though, with the boots.
Bonk Rock's got the big 20.
And King's Tome maybe next? Indeed, King's Tome is the next location for Jenja to check. And a heart piece, the final remains of the old king. SeedyV now doing this torch room will bring out the hook shot and proceed through without any problems. And Jenja, he did not check Lumberjack in the early game, right? So he's going up to check that now.
Yeah, that looks like what he's doing at the moment.
Oh, and you get some bees to visit him first, though, and all that lag. I believe this was an arrow or a bomb capacity upgrade.
Yeah, I think it was a bomb upgrade. Yes, a bomb upgrade.
I still think we've only found a single bottle in this seed. And Jenja is going to go and pick up his tempered from the library. He has remembered, despite the fact that these are some very late boots.
I don't believe that the mirror could be in Aghanim's tower. I think both of those chests there are have to be keys.
Indeed, that is the case. This is not key sanity. There are no progression items up there, unless something was changed in the logic that I missed. And I think Jenja is going to do a Pyramid Fairy right now. SeedyV is just proceeding through Turtle Rock without any major difficulties. This Pyramid Fairy will be the item location we're looking forward to right now, since Jenja has already cleared Turtle Rock. And has to do the long way around, since, once again, no mirror.
Yes, mirror is required because it's needed to get into Swamp Palace, which is one of the last 2 crystals that Jenja needs. Just a big heart and big 20 at the Pyramid Fairy. So I'm thinking Meyer must be the play at this point.
Yes, he did check Tower of Hera, so Meyer, Catfish is. I think he's gonna check Catfish right now, and then I believe Spy Cave. What more item locations are we missing?
I think that's about it. Spike Cave, Catfish, and whatever's in Meyer at this point.
Now, I'd be more inclined to check Spy Cave before I head into Meyer. Now, what if this Catfish, though, has a mirror or the book, and it was accessible so early on in the seed? And as SeedyV will be approaching Laser Bridge, Jenja finds himself with 300 rupees. And that's a lot of money, but it's not necessary.
Yeah, I think Jenja's going to go check Spike Cave now.
And then into Meyer, unless he finds the mirror or the book here. Or powder, I guess.
Book would be nice because then he could go up and... well, no, I guess he couldn't. Never mind.
Okay, then.
I was going to say he could go up and check the tablet just to the left of Hera, but he still needs the mirror to get it.
I mean, he could go all the way around, but do you want to go all the way around?
Not particularly.
Indeed. So here now, Jenja with this Spy Cave check is sitting at 15 hearts, half magic. Okay, I mean, this is about as easy of a Spy Cave as you're going to get.
Oh yes, thanks, Chad. I didn't. I forgot that Jenja hadn't gotten Ether yet.
Oh, there's the other cane. Oh wait, that's vanilla, right?
Yes, I think it is.
That's really silly. So, yeah, Jenja does not have Ether, and that is at the Genus Cave. But he is headed towards that area.
Yeah, he's headed there right now.
And then we will be seeing our Meyer play. So 2 items in Meyer, green pendant, pedestal. One of these 4 item locations must be progression. Oh, Jenja, you bastard, throwing a bomb at the G now.
I don't blame him at this point.
I wouldn't be surprised if he throws another one right now. I mean, I remember back in the day, like a year ago, when Agena had nothing, and now Agena always seems to have something of some use. Did miss out on SeedyV's Trinex fight there, but I imagine he didn't have too many difficulties with it, but he did only have 3 hearts left, so he have struggled a little bit there. And now Jenja is making the big Meyer play.
I bet SeedyV was glad he did dip back into Pod to get that half magic just for that Trinex fight.
Oh yeah. Oh, Jenja tries to do the burr toss, but can't grab the burr there.
And it looks like SeedyV is going to go check Spike Cave and be sorely disappointed.
Yeah, and he's leaving out Hera here.
It's a gutsy move. It's a gamble, but if he stays with it, I think it'll pay off.
At this point, Tower of Hera is only required if this is a pedestal seed. And, you know, it's 1 in 4 right now that this is a pedestal seed. Oh, there's a second potion, and now there's only 3 item locations left. There's a very nice spin speed there for SeedyV to get into Kingstone very quickly. There's very little risk here for our players with all these arts, Red Mail, Riot Shield, Tempered Sword, Half Magic, all medallions. I mean, they are equipped to handle any situation the game wants to throw at them. Unless we're talking about Mophila RNG, but they've already done Mophila, so that's fine. Jenja picks up the map. And I think SeedyV is also now heading into Mire.
And because he doesn't have to check Agina's cave, he's going to make up a little bit of time that Jenja lost going that route.
That is indeed the case. And there's the compass, that's both the map and the compass for Jenja.
And Jenja's going to have to play through the cutscene here.
The way too long cutscene. I get the feeling though that SeedyV is gonna have to do that as well, so it's not really a time loss in that sense. I don't think I ever quite realized how long that cutscene really is. And Jenja finds an error capacity upgrade. This means Sahasrara or Pedestal. That is where the progression item is.
All right, so yeah, Jenja is actually going to be... Well, I mean, if it's not Sahasrara, Jenja has a huge lead. As someone in chat just said, if it is at the pedestal, that means SeedyV does have to go all the way back to Tower of Hera and clear that.
Oh yes, and it's a long way to walk there without the mirror. There's the big key for Jenja, and I think he is gonna go to the end of the dungeon now. And if you're Jenja, do you check Sahasrara or Pedestal first?
That's a good question. I think he's probably going to want to check Sahasrara first, because otherwise you have to go through the little bit of a cutscene at the pedestal.
Yeah, that does seem to make sense. Now what if you go to Sahasrara and you find the book there? You still go and pull the pedestal. And it's a little bit low on hearts here, but it does have the backup ferry. And as SeedyV is waiting through this long cutscene, Jenja will be heading towards Vitreous. And with Silver Arrows, this is a very straightforward and simple fight, and one of the few enemies in the game that Silver Arrows does not one-shot.
Yeah, but 2 shots is, close enough, really.
You're just happy that boss is dead, and that is the green pendant. Sahasrara, Pedestal. One of these 2 item locations does have a progression item, and it is either Powder, Mirror, or Book. SeedyV is down to 1 heart, he has to be careful.
He's going to do pedestal.
Oh my goodness, we do get the pedestal pull first. Oh, SeedyV, he does have the fairy, right?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, that's very good for him. And as Jenja takes out the bomb here, this is the moment a lot of people have been waiting for. He's gonna bomb the pedestal twice as he moves forward and pulls out perhaps the item that may give him this seed's victory, and it is the boomerang!
Boomerang!
Sahasrara it is.
Wow, so SeedyV still has a little bit of a chance.
I like to point out that the boomerang is the item Jenja hates the most in the game.
Wow. Well, to be honest, I'm glad, because it means this race is still somewhat close.
Yeah, SeedyV is still in it because of this. So Sahasrara, which of the 3 items do you have for us here? Are you gonna bomb him as well?
Mirror!
And then you get the mirror. And that is go mode for Jenja. So this is a go mode swamp, which is going to be very fast, and he's going to do desert first.
And SeedyV is going to be only maybe a minute behind him, even though he does have to save and quit first. I can only imagine he's just going to go directly to Sahasrara.
Oh yes, undoubtedly, and this is still a very close race. Now, SeedyV did not actually go back to the library and pick up his sword upgrade.
This is true. That may set him back a little bit. I don't know if he'll take the time to go do it, or maybe hope on finding it in finding the other one in GT somewhere.
Oh yes, and Jenja finds the big key in the second item location, and he's just gonna head straight to the boss. And SeedyV is going to head over and get his mirror, and that's also going to put him in go mode. And SeedyV being much kinder to the old man. No bombs, no nothing. Just gets the item, brings out the flute, and then says bye, or maybe doesn't even say bye, and then leaves.
It looks like SeedyV is going to quick stop at the library and pick up the Tempered Sword. I think that's a smart move, even if it is going to put him behind by maybe just another 30 seconds or so.
I think that the sword will just end up saving him more time, though, because of how much faster he'll be able to do both Ganon and the Gauntlet.
I think you're right.
And Jenja will be going for Silver Arrow strats here on Land Molas. That's 1 down, that's 2 down, and that's 3 down. Wow, that's a fantastic fight. And as Jenja will be moving over to Swamp Palace, SeedyV is now heading into Desert Palace.
Yeah, at this point, Jenja is slightly ahead. He got the mirror and was able to go into Desert Palace sooner. I think he's maybe only a couple of minutes ahead, depending on how well SeedyV executes here in Desert.
Yes, and of course, it's also Swamp, and this is still within the realm of possibility that a potential left-right side Ganon's Tower may make a difference.
Oh, definitely. That has in many cases been the great equalizer in a lot of these races.
And as Jenja drains the swamp, SeedyV is proceeding through Desert. Now you imagine though that with 16 or 14 hearts, Red Mail, Riot Shield, Tempered, Silver Arrow, Soul Medallions, Fire, Ice Rod, Cane, etc., they're not going to have any difficulties going through Ganon's Tower.
No, the gauntlet isn't going to be too bad for either of these players. They've shown that they've got they're pretty good in terms of skill level, and actually I'd say they're pretty evenly matched, even just from the beginning here. So it really is going to come down to execution and just the way the RNG favors them.
That, and of course the right side Ganon's Tower. If it does go down to down, and SeedyV does not get the one cycle on Landmolas.
The stars on the tracker, those mean that the stars next to the crystals means those are the 5th and 6th crystals that are required to get the big bomb for the Pyramid Fairy, and the star next to the pendant in Misery Mire means that that's the green pendant, which means you can also go get something from Sahasrara.
And Sahasrara, of course, was required in this seed, and Pyramid Fairy, however, was not.
So SeedyV is about 2 minutes and change behind Jenja right now, and it's not an insurmountable lead at this point. As we said, it could come down to left side, right side in the basement of Ganon's Tower, and it could also come down to just straight execution.
Of course, this is still very much so a race. And as Jenja has headed straight into the depths of Swamp, SeedyV is now going to drain it and then enter soon enough. I guess the only item that our players would pre-seed to get from here on out would be the powder or potentially butter.
I've got a feeling we'll see Butter Sword in Ganon's Tower. Powder would be nice, but yeah, it could be useful depending on how the gauntlet goes for each of them.
Oh yes. It's not like either of our players are going to be checking a lot of additional chests here to find any of them, since they are pretty much stacked on everything already. And with that, Argus is down for Jenja, and he will be headed towards Ganon's Tower, just with a little bit of bomb capacity increase. And there's Jenja, Mirrors, and Flutes. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 22, I believe, item locations in Ganon's Tower, and one of them holds the big key. Which one is it? Find out soon, but take your guesses now. And here's a little bit of an interesting thing here for Jenja, as he decides to go into the Dark World here on the lower part of Death Mountain. I believe this is slightly slower, but if the Dead Rocks do decide to annoy you, this is actually faster. And here is the Argus fight for SeedyV. Imagine it's not going to be any major difficulties for him, as Jenja will now be entering Ganon's Tower. Oh, a very nice silver arrow strats there for SeedyV. One shot, one kill, Argus is down, and he will now be heading towards Ganon's Tower as well.
Yeah, that was a very clean fight.
And thank you very much, KPR Off Time, for your Twitch Prime subscription. So Ganon's Tower, small key into Piece of Heart.
And SeedyV exits at 1:41 and about 10 seconds, so he's still about 2 minutes back.
He is, but he did decide to skip out on that bug catching net, just optimizing all the time he can right now to get into Ganon's Tower.
Getting hung up a little bit on the dead rocks there.
That happens to us also. As Jenja finishes the right side, he's gonna find himself with a Piece of Heart, 20 rupees. The big key is on the right side in chest location number 5.
Jenja picking up a small key for good measure.
Yep, so he's gonna have 2 small keys heading up towards Ganon's Tower. And Jenja is not going to do any fancy strats, just walks right in, fires 2 arrows, kills the enemies, fires 2 more, kills them as well, and proceeds through to the next room. And SeedyV is now entering Ganon's Tower himself. Now this is still a race, it is not over yet, even though it may seem that way. It's never over until it's over.
And SeedyV making the right choice and going to the right first.
Well, let's hope he continues on this right side path, as Jenja just finished up the first room of the gauntlet. And SeedyV, no, it's going left!
Oh my, that's gonna cost him.
Oh, yes.
And there's the book on the torch.
How is that book still there if it's on a torch? And Jenja is proceeding through this gauntlet without any major difficulties. And fire hour strats in this one room here, and then moving into Limolus. Oh, there's the red meringue.
Boy, just definitely so much love in this seed.
And they've been getting love since the very early stages of the seed as well. And the torch room just there with the, or firebar room with 50 rupees for SeedyV, as Jenja is bringing out the cane for the cane strats. Another very nice executed room by Jenja.
Those Wizrobe rooms are so satisfying when you see him go like that.
Oh, Jenja falls.
Fortunate fall there.
That's one of those rooms that sometimes just dash through with no problems, but otherwise something like that happens and you just question yourself, what did I do different this time?
Really, sometimes it just comes down to alignment. If you happen to catch one of the enemies there with their weapon out, it can be enough to just throw you off just enough. Just like when you have the Helmasaur in the same type of room in Palace of Darkness.
Oh yeah, and random room, nothing of value for SeedyV, as we're all anguishing here, as hoping that he will go right soon enough. Then you're checking your chest and gets a full heart refill. Wow, that's extremely convenient.
Yeah, that was very timely. Make short work of Trolldorm 2 here.
Just a spin and one more hit. And I imagine he's gonna open this last chest as well. Potentially to get butter.
And there's the powder.
Hey, I did say that they were looking for the powder.
And it looks like SeedyV's even going to go through and make quick work of the Ice Armo statues, but unfortunately he's not going to find what he's looking for.
Indeed, that is sadly the case. And as Jenja now heading into Aghanim. Gets a single hit on the first cycle. And gets, I think that was only one.
Yeah, that was just a single hit.
I guess a double there despite the blue balls though.
Yeah, gets the double on that one. Oh, and the triple to finish it off.
That was a very nice fourth cycle as Jenja will now be heading towards Ganon.
And SeedyV now makes his way to the right side. That said, I can't blame SeedyV for going that direction. You know, there are so many more chests to check on the left side. But just this time, it just didn't pan out.
Yeah, back in the day, left side was actually the standard way to go, but more and more people started to go right, and right sort of became the standard route to go.
I think it's because while there aren't as many chests, you don't have as far to go before you go back to the point where the room wraps around, and it's a quicker check to check those chests that are there, and then you know, then go check the rest if you haven't found it by that point.
That does sound quite plausible. SeedyV is going to get his big key now, as Jenja is moving into phase 2 here on Ganon, and he's not having any major difficulties with this fight. Oh, he didn't actually get enough hits there. I thought he got enough.
Making nice use of the hook shot there.
Those fire bats can be very bothersome. And now into phase 3. And once Ganon stops teleporting, he will meet his demise.
Meanwhile, SeedyV is making his way through the gauntlet.
And here goes the first silver arrow. Jenja does not get the torch glitch, and it doesn't really matter anyway.
I like that Jenja's kind of playing it safe because it's really easy for those bats to knock you off. I've had that happen more than once.
Oh yes, and he gets a very nice double, and here's the fourth and final shot. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your winner of today's race. It is going to be Jenja23.
Yes, GG Jenja. Wow, that was a bit of a mouthful. Finishing up with a time of about 1 hour, 49 minutes, and 20 seconds.
GG.
We'll see how, yes, we'll see how well SeedyV does getting through the gauntlet here.
He does have a blue potion to help him out there, as he was taking a lot of damage. Sanctuary tells you to read a book, but Jenja doesn't actually have a book to read. And it seems like SeedyV is going to get a 3 cycle on the small dorms. This torch was very annoying for him. SeedyV missing the cane there, but he gets it on the second try. Very well done.
All right, and we're going to have Jenja here in just a second for a little bit of an interview.
Yo, what's up?
Good game there, Jenja. That was quite the seed.
Thank you very much.
You definitely made some good choices. You guys both ended up getting the mirror and finishing up Meyer and getting the mirror at about the same time. I think SeedyV was about maybe a minute or two behind you. And even though you went to go check the pedestal, it didn't make as much of a difference. And the big equalizer was he ended up checking about 2 or 3 chests on the right side of Ganon's castle and then went to the left side. So he missed getting the big key, and he's only just now getting through the gauntlet.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But you guys kept it really close the entire race.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, for me, it was like basically a full clear for the entire seed. Obviously, except the things that are locked by the mirror. Like the ether was the absolute last place where that item could have been, or like anything progressive. So yeah, it didn't feel too great overall, but I guess that goes with every seed ever. Like you never feel great about a race time, I guess. But yeah, overall, I guess it was decent.
Well, you still pulled out the win, so that's something to be proud of anyway. And SeedyV not going for the validation chest.
Hey, that powder can be helpful.
Now you did get a lot of items in the early game. How did this affect your routing decisions?
Yeah, I mean, at first I was like, yeah, okay, this is... I mean, usually the seeds that are very front-loaded, that give you all the stuff at the beginning. I've seen that a lot, that they kind of give you that twist at some point, but... I mean, I was looking for the Moon Pearl the entire time. I mean, as soon as we got the Moon Pearl, the world really opened up. But at first, I mean, after knowing that I had the bow, I obviously knew that Eastern was like the first place that I would check. But yeah, afterwards, it felt not too open. I mean, I think I went like up to Death Mountain because there's just like with the Titansmiths and the Moon Pearl, there's a ton of items up there, and I guess overall it wasn't too bad. I was kind of bummed out that I checked the purple chest very late, but on the other hand, without the mirror, it's always a bit iffy to get the purple chest, you know. But yeah, I guess overall.
Yeah, given what the seed threw at you, you made some really good routing choices. Both of you did, really. It was a matter of, you know, how things panned out, really.
Although I was a bit sad that the mirror was not on the pedestal. I was a little bit bummed out.
Yeah, chat was really hoping for something good at the pedestal.
I mean, even give me the powder. Like I don't care, but just have something on the pedestal.
And SeedyV on into phase 3 of the Ganon fight. We should be joining us here any minute now.
And when you get that bow as the first item, is Eastern Palace always a consideration for you?
What, going Eastern first, or?
Yeah, like going straight Eastern after you're done with Escape.
Yeah, I mean, normally I want to say yes, but I mean, obviously if I find some other crazy items on the way, that might change. But I mean, with the bow, you know, Eastern being always available at the start, from the start of the game, it is somewhat likely that there's something in there. And you know, if you already have the bow, like I don't have any problem with the dark rooms. So also having already, like, I don't know if I had red mail already at that point, but already blue mail, a couple of hearts, like usually that's very safe to go to Eastern. So yeah, I mean, kind of cool if you start with the bow, I guess.
All right, and SeedyV is finished up. He finishes with a time of 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 14 seconds. See if we can get him in here in just a moment.
was it a clear decision for you to decide to pull the pedestal before Sahasrara?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, I already went into Tower of Hera, which had nothing. And like for me, going to pedestal first would be, you know, if I find something on the pedestal, then the Tower of Hera move would have not been a mistake. This way, it was complete trash. So like I wasted just a ton of time anyway. So, you know, with that decision, I mean, it's not that big of a time difference to begin with. But if I pulled something out of the pedestal, I can, you know, at least make up the time that I would have otherwise lost in Tower of Hera. But yeah, it is what it is. Like it's not that big of an issue, I guess.
And we've got SeedyV here. GG SeedyV.
Thanks, guys. Thought I had a shot there, but apparently not. Man, Jenja, well played, getting that done in that time, man. Well done.
GG, dude.
You know, we were telling SeedyV that the two of you were actually pretty close, even right up to the point where you got the mirror. You were only about a minute apart there. And what really seemed to make the difference was the routing in the basement of Ganon's tower. Jenja ended up doing more of the right side before you, I think, did a few chests and then went for the left side. And that really seemed to be the thing that really made the race right there.
Yeah, I kind of figured if he went right that what little shot I did have was minimized to 0. But I honestly, with that pod performance, I didn't deserve to win this race regardless. So well played, Jenja. That was good stuff, man.
Yeah, it was a good race, definitely. I mean, probably with the mirror. I mean, being there. I don't know. You probably didn't do Tower of Hera right now. Okay, yeah. Yeah, but I guess it was pretty close. I mean, I usually go for the right side in GT if I already have everything that I wanna do if I'm comfortable defeating Ganon. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not as comfortable with the right side as I should be, so I tend to skew to the left, obviously to my detriment here. But no, it's encouraging to know it was a little close, at least going into GT at least.
Yeah, one thing that was interesting, there was a bit of a divergence early on where SeedyV, you did fake flippers and picked up the fire rod in Waterfall Cave, and it wasn't a bad move and it wasn't a good move.
Yeah, I didn't parlay that into any sort of advantage going to Skullwoods or anything like that, like I probably should have. But there was just such a wealth of items from the get-go. It was really kind of a, you know, you had pretty much the entire world was your oyster, so it was difficult trying to prioritize where to go. And hope you hit it right, I guess.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you do have a multitude of choices to make right off the bat, and it really just comes down to where the seed has decided to place things. So, I mean, you can't feel too bad about the way you played today. You kept it close, and your execution was really good, both of you. It just, you know, RNG really was the determining factor in this one.
And maybe this will be the thing that gets me to actually learn the pod maze in the dark. I don't know. We'll see. That must have been quite the hilarity there, but that was the only thing that really I really was kicking myself about. I going into pod when I did was kind of questionable. There were so many places the mirror could have been. I don't know. I was just wanting. I don't know if it was nerves. I don't know, but early silver pickup, which didn't really, I don't think would have led to too much of any sort of advantage. But yeah, I don't know what more I can say.
Well, I think, regardless, I think this was a very entertaining race, and just definitely exemplary of all of the level of skill of the players that are in this tournament. I'd be looking forward to see what both of you do in the weeks to come.
Yeah, thank you very much. Definitely GG, Seedy, and yeah, best of luck to you and the rest.
All the same.
Rounds, dude.
All the same, man. Good luck. Hopefully I can dig myself out of this 0-1 bracket, but we'll just see how it goes. Thanks, guys.
I mean, one loss is not the end of the, not even close to the end of the tournament, so.
This is a long seed, not seed, but this stage of the bracket is 7 weeks long, and as long as you finish with a record of 5-2, you will go through to the next round. So 1 loss is not the end of the world.
And 5-1 for the remainder is a tall task, but we'll see what happens.
Well, if you continue to play as well as, if not better than what you did today, I definitely think you've got a good shot. You've got a good shot at it, and Jenja, you've got a nice start for your run in this tournament as well.
All right, gents, thanks so much for your time commentating. Really appreciate it, and thanks, guys, for watching. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for being so good at this game.
Yes, it's our pleasure. It's fun to commentate when you've got players who do as well as you guys do.
Yeah, thank you guys very much for commentating. Also, the restreamer and tracker, everyone.
Yeah, I want to thank. We'll take a moment to thank our tracker, Ileana.
And be sure to follow both our runners today on Twitch at twitch.tv/Jenja23 and twitch.tv/SeedyV.
Yeah, and with that, I've been High Def Lomain.
And I've been Marjevich.
And just stay tuned. Check the website. It's ALTTPR. Hold on a second. I missed the schedule link. I was going to put it up there. The schedule is at speedgaming.org, ALTTPR, and there are many, 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 many more matches to come, even just today, so keep watching.
Oh yes, I'm pretty certain there are games right now going on other channels. And that about wraps it up for us here. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we will see you soon.